You are tuned in to the New Old Heads podcast, premiered every Thursday at noon at bringingdowntheband.com and brought to you by No Bad Ideas, Coleman Dental, and Printfinity. Support the New Old Heads by visiting our Patreon at patreon.com/newoldheads.
Episode 81 of the New Old Heads podcast. I am Major 7th. I make beats. I got the hard drive to prove it. Longevity is directly in front of me. Take that Tuesday 12 t-shirt on. I see you. You got to promote DJ Metronome. We see you.
Yep.
Lone, how are you, sir?
I'm all right. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Bears cup in hand.
Yeah, you know.
Shout out to the, before we get started, I'm going to say, is this the wolf hat or is this the tiger? What we got?
Lion?
That's
Lion?
Cheetah?
A lion.
Okay. Shout out to No Bad Ideas out of these collections.
Squirrel?
Yeah, this
No,
is
it's
different.
not a squirrel.
Yeah, it's a little different. I hadn't seen that before, but they do take care of us, so shout out to
For
them.
sure.
Coleman Dental as well, 317-255-8546. Make sure you show them love.
Got some Coleman Dental chapstick right here, you know.
I got some in my car.
Hey, man, you know.
I like that. It's good packaging there. I like that presentation.
It's got a unique smell to it as well.
Oh, what flavor is that?
I don't know.
Let's not go any further into that.
Yeah,
It's chap. I don't know. It smells fruity. I don't know.
fair enough.
Let's keep moving.
Diagonal as always. Diagonal as always. DJ Jay Diff rocking the Printfinity camouflage Indiana Flame t-shirt.
Salutations.
My brother, how you doing today, sir?
I am here.
Okay. I don't know how to take that, man. You all right?
That's it.
You remember when I don't remember what it was on, but somebody
that?
was making fun of Sidney Poitier.
Sidney who?
Sidney Poitier.
Poitier?
Man, god damn it.
I'm sorry,
I'm not about
man.
to do this with you today,
All right,
man.
go ahead. What's
You
the
know
story?
what the hell I said.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know what
What's
you're
the proper way to say it?
Portier.
No, it's Poitier.
I think
Poitier.
it's
Like I said.
You ain't say that though.
Okay.
No, that's what he said.
What do you say, Jay Moore?
He said Poitier.
Oh,
Patois.
Immediately to my left, Mr. Wavy, light-skinned girls be loving me now. The golden voice. Not longevity. You're not longevity. You're Jay Moore.
Yes, I am.
How are you, sir?
Doing well, sir. How are you?
Sometimes you just got to throw the whole show away.
Smoking that crack. You smoke crack, don't you?
Hi, Mr. Wavy, light-skinned girls
He had a
be
whole
loving me
8
now.
ball
How are you,
before
sir?
the show.
I'm doing really well, man. It's finally we skipped spring here.
Yes, sir.
And so it's summertime, so got to cut on that
It's like
climate
90.
control in the home.
Word.
90 yesterday.
It is what it
Yeah.
is.
We have a special guest in the building. Now, I have not had a chance to meet this gentleman, but I just got a chance to chop it up, meet him today.
Crack.
It is not crack. I do not do drugs.
Crackish.
Stop, man.
The whole 8 ball.
Let me introduce my man. DJ Helicon's in the building. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Welcome, man. Welcome.
Yeah, man. I appreciate the chaotic start the show is off to
Yes,
this
sir.
evening.
Yes.
Lone just made a noise. I don't know what that was.
He hit himself in the face with the mic.
Yeah, I ran into the mic.
It's all good, though. It's all good.
Yeah, I was like,
We're glad to
Was it a
have
hit
you,
and
man.
run?
We're
It was.
we're
Hit
glad
and
to
move.
have you.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, the New
Yep.
Old Heads experience, sir. You are, remember that Michael Vick commercial? Michael Vick experience? You are in the New Old Heads experience, sir.
The Sidney Poitier episode.
We might have to call that episode 81. I said Terrell Owens. Did we have any Tim Brown? I think you said Tim Brown.
Timmy.
I think we should. I think Terrell Owens. I have to go ahead. And
I
give it
think
to
Terrell Owens is better than Tim Brown.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
look at his
definitely got to go
numbers.
with Tim Brown
Why?
because I like Tim Brown more.
You know why he's going with Tim Brown.
You're right. I'm acting like I don't know why. Yeah.
Sir Troll.
Yeah. So
There's no trolling there. He's
Maybe
better.
Sidney Poitier wore number 81 in high school.
Yeah,
though.
exactly.
I, mean,
When
he
he
I
was,
like
I could see him playing ball.
Poitier.
I said it right.
Patois.
Stop, man.
Yeah.
Well, I like Terrell Owens, so we'll go with that.
Oh, okay.
He gets no love from the Hall of Fame. We were talking
I mean,
about
he
that.
They
did.
hate
He
on him.
did. He got into the Hall of Fame this year, but they made him wait just
They made
because
him wait out of spite.
the nerds and the weirdos who write for
Right,
they didn't like
exactly.
him.
The
you
writer,
know.
because it is the writers.
Yeah, it's the writers. I mean, they did the same thing to Chris Carter.
Yep.
Where they felt like he was a little arrogant. Not that he did anything wrong.
Okay, what NFL football player is not arrogant?
Right.
That's a good
First
point.
of all, you have to have a certain level of brain damage to play NFL football. And that's not CTE. I'm talking about any level of
Like,
football.
going into it.
Like, just think, the concept of running as fast as you can into another human being.
Facts.
There's a little bit of
You gotta be a
craziness
little
involved.
crazy.
And I was only crazy enough to play for 2 years in high school. Then I was like, nope, my
You said
talents
they-
lie other places.
You said they drafted a rugby player?
Who drafted the rugby player? I didn't hear
Somebody
that
did.
I don't remember exactly what team, but a rugby player. I mean, he's a
They
beast.
signed-
Like, he's
Yeah?
crazy.
Well, yeah, because he's used to being
Yeah.
out there with the 49ers had a rugby player a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So
How'd he
That's
turn out?
crazy.
Was he?
I mean, he made the 54-man roster, whatever, a 54, 53, I can't remember. You know, he went on the practice squad. He actually got to suit up on Sundays
He
and
got
get
a
on the
real
plane.
check?
Yeah,
Got that check.
Well, shout out to that young man.
real.
Let's jump into the news. Let's go.
He could
Drew.
be old.
How old is he?
I don't know.
Thank you. Let's jump into the news. This is per CNN. Israel kills dozens at the Gaza border of U.S. Embassy, which opened in Jerusalem. It says this is as of right now on CNN. It says Palestinian officials say at least 58 people have been killed in the latest rounds of protests. More than 2,700 Palestinian demonstrators were injured on Monday. At least 1,350 by gunfire along the border fence of Gaza. The health ministry reported in the mass protests began on March 30th and had already left dozens dead.
They had tennis rackets.
What?
They were swatting stuff with tennis rackets.
Oh, word?
yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to see all this, Jay Moore. I know you were talking about it a little bit, but it's just sad when anytime you have, that many lives that are lost in a situation. Did any of you gentlemen see anything more or have any more details? I'm not gonna lie, I'm not that much up on it, but I know it's
saw
bad.
a couple
in terms of-
headlines, but that's about it. I saw the picture with the guy with the tennis racket getting ready to hit something that was incoming.
Word.
Um,
Jay Moore, did you know anything else about it, or just pretty much on the surface?
You know, of course, it's complicated just because this is something that's been. You're talking about something that's been going on for decades at this point, as
Yes,
far
sir.
as the border or the disputed
Gaza
land,
Strip.
if you will. That's the
Right.
Gaza Strip. And, I understand that it's a very complicated, and a lot of people want to lay blame because especially, all these people are shot on the same day that 45 decides to declare that Jerusalem has a
that's right.
U.S. embassy.
That's true.
Okay, this is
Moving it
something.
from Tel Aviv.
Yes, this is
Yeah.
something that other administrations, both Republican and Democrat, have said we're not going to do this. But we're living in strange days with the current president that we have. So I know a lot of people want to tie it to that and just tie it to anything political.
Right.
But from what I've read and what I've seen, it needs to be more about the fact that there were unarmed men, women, and children, and paramedics, people who were trying to assist these people, who were shot by sniper fire.
Right.
Okay, and so we always get so bent out of shape about if there's one because the president 45. Let's just go back to I didn't mean to call him the president. I mean to call him 45.
That's what we call him.
He'll make sure to tweet something about the tragedy if one person is attacked by a Muslim on a train in France
Right.
somewhere. But, when we're talking about dozens of lives of innocent, I'll just call them innocent because if somebody shoots you from an elevated position and you are unarmed,
Yes, sir.
it is what it is. You can't justify that, especially if they're just occupying a space. Regardless of how you feel politically or religiously, because let's just be honest, a lot of this comes down to religion. But the fact that there are some people who are, basically Israeli soldiers killing Palestinians, and the line from some people is like, look what Hamas did.
Right. Jump in, Lone. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, and this isn't new.
Right.
Like you said, this isn't something that just happened. when Trump decided to.
Yeah,
do
you
that,
can't put it on him like
no,
that.
I think it's bad timing. I wouldn't put it
Awful
directly
timing.
on Trump,
Yeah.
but
Awful
yeah, I
timing.
mean,
it didn't help.
I
No.
mean,
And
at the
that's
end
the
of day,
reason
he
why
just
no
wants
one's done this
another
up to this
building
point.
with his name on it. That's all.
That's pretty much it. Okay.
That's what I take from it.
Helicon, jump in, man. Anything on that one?
Yeah, I mean, I think, to echo what Jay Moore said, I mean, you're talking about a very complicated political history
Yep.
in a very, a part of the world that operates much differently than we are used to here.
Yep.
Especially politically. And just, again, kind of what Jay Moore said, there have been multiple administrations that have made attempts to do something about the situation in the Middle East, and particularly about Israel and Palestine. But we have become, what bothers me, and we talked about this a little bit before the show started, what bothers me is just this reactionary culture that we've become, where it's like either supporting 45 or it kind of becomes this political battle when we're really talking about the fact that unarmed civilians are being killed, trying to essentially claim where they live.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's not even about a political argument. You know, right? And they're not soldiers.
Right.
You know. And then I was just kind of sitting here scrolling through 45's Twitter feed from yesterday, and it's
I like how you call him 45.
big days for Israel. Congratulations. You know, and then it goes into the so-called leaks coming out of the White House or a massive over-exaggeration.
Here
and
we
then,
go.
you know, this total witch hunt, you know, I mean, it's like there's no acknowledgement of
empathy.
And there's no, I mean, you're talking about a dude who does not have empathy, period.
At all.
Not for particular people. Like I said, if
I don't
you're
know that
killed
he has it for anyone.
If you're killed by a Muslim on foreign soil, he'll make sure to make that about how we have to tighten our because once again we've talked about this on previous shows, how if he can make it fit his agenda, he'll show empathy.
Definitely.
If not, that's why the situation when we talked about the guy who came in the Waffle House, and like apparently he's just now called him a hero. That happened a month ago.
Think about the young man that was a Colts player.
Yeah, I was thinking the same
on
thing.
the highway
when he tried to make it about
it was a Muslim gentleman that ran
no,
off
it
the road,
was
right?
no,
Is that right?
Hispanic.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So he turned that into border control or something stupid like that. And I'm like, fam, like that's the last
like somebody lost their son.
Yes.
You
but
know.
this fits the narrative. This fits who he is. He's totally oblivious to what's most important, or what I would think would be most important.
And he's talking about us. You know, after the Russian witch hunt, I now have my best poll numbers of the year.
See,
much of the media may be corrupt, but the people truly get it. It's like there's one person here who clearly doesn't get it, and that's you. You know, like
how does he have time to tweet about all this stuff?
That's my
Being
question.
Bro, he's not doing a lot of time reading. He's not a reader.
He doesn't read.
Like, and that's not me. You know,
that's people closest to him say that.
That's people within his administration.
Yeah,
he gets a lot of what he tweets about from watching Fox News. He watches television.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Television
he's a 71, 72-year-old man. Yeah. He watches a lot of TV. My grandfather watched a lot of TV at that time, but he wasn't
and also wasn't
president of the United States.
Yeah, I mean,
he wasn't moving embassies.
No, he certainly wasn't.
Good point. So yeah, that's as always. He continues.
But
to
let's
find
move
his
on.
ways.
Yeah, Mike, get us out of here.
Yeah,
I got you. I got you.
This could really get heated.
I got you.
And the United States have, just real quick, we
Yes, sir.
have historically always been behind
Israel.
Yeah.
So there's
Definitely.
that piece that we won't get into. But
I could dig it.
But I would encourage anyone out there to research that a little bit more and
Absolutely.
understand what's really going on out there, because don't get it from Fox News or CNN for that matter. I mean, there's, you know,
that's a
like
thought.
Jay Moore said, there's a deep history of major conflict and things that we don't really get here. You know,
Sure.
And there's a lot of things that we don't get within our own society, but it's a different level of.
find a Palestinian that lives here or somebody like that and have a conversation.
You're talking
with them.
about like literally no economy, like places that don't have electricity and water, and I mean it's brutal.
But he up in the polls.
Yeah, but we'll get out of this, because one of the things that I think has most bothered me is that when you show any empathy towards these people who have been shot and killed by snipers, there has almost been an attempt to make it into you being anti-Semitic.
I know.
And I was like, we really don't need to go there. Can we just keep it about the fact that all these people have lost their lives, regardless of whose lives they lost their hands at the hands of? You know, so it's just it's very layered. Let's get on to something
I think
else.
we should just leave it at that, because like we all agree that's the
Yeah.
most important part of this.
Yeah,
and,
let's
I think we
get
should,
into
out of
something,
respect for them, let's just.
And
leave
this
it at
is
that.
going to be a developing story. Like this is something that could possibly dominate the summer. So we'll see.
I got you. 𝐴2ZCentral.com. It said, and this is we were talking about. I think I always get this wrong. Who brought up what, right? But I'm gonna guess and say, I think this was Lone about
what I say
McCain.
What I say last week? I don't contribute.
Did you bring up McCain, or was
Nah, I
that
didn't.
Jay Moore?
I don't know.
I wasn't here last week.
I'm talking about before we came
Oh,
on.
yeah.
Tonight. Yeah.
Shout
No,
to
no, I did bring
Shout out
it
to
up.
Red August giggling. I forgot to mention him. Pay that man, by the way, for
The
his
proper
services.
way to do it is probably just to bring it up, and then whoever brought it up can just
start
take
talking.
it from there.
I don't want to do it the proper way.
Oh.
This is the 81st episode.
clearly
This is how
not.
we could do
and
it.
I have not done it the proper way.
Right.
So why would we do it that way now?
Have no idea.
I don't know.
Just like I didn't say Sidney Poitier right.
Can you spell Poitier?
You know what?
Can you spell it?
It ain't about me.
Your mother's the
Country
English
people call him
teacher.
Sidney Porter.
Hey, mama.
Sidney Porter.
Mama. Come on, man. Why? Terry, man, we not going to do this today, man.
Talk about
I'm on
John
your
McCain,
side.
man.
I got you, man,
we've
'cause
already
this-
done this today. So just go ahead.
This is the theme.
He was showing out when I first got here today. Man.
John McCain.
No, man.
Then talk about him.
Stop, man. A to Z Joe.com. Now, it says we are approaching the third year of the running battle of words between U.S. Senator John McCain and now President Donald Trump. The latest salvo comes from a White House functionary who said McCain's opposition to CIA Director nominee Gina Haspel, I believe is how it's pronounced, says it doesn't matter. He's dying anyway. So,
What's this about again?
this is about somebody saying basically McCain doesn't. Who cares what McCain says? He's about to die in relation to the CIA.
Yeah, that's one of 45 surrogates. I can't. What was the young lady's name or young?
You know what? I copied and pasted.
You know what?
on the
Forget
first
it. Who
part.
cares?
We ain't going to
we don't even need to mention her
Yeah,
name
we don't
either.
even need to
Yeah.
mention her. Like that.
Bottom line, somebody said, "Who cares?" We're paraphrasing here. Who cares what McCain says? He's about to die anyway.
Look, you could have
Well-
a disagreement about John McCain's political leanings,
Yep.
Right.
but you can't take away from this is a man that not only served his country through his military service, but then as far as becoming a senator, continued to serve his country.
Yep.
So whatever misgivings or disagreements I have with John McCain as a political leader, I have to respect that. And the thing is, this just goes back to a lot of the things we said about 45 in previous shows. John McCain, while he's basically dying, like this is
He has terminal cancer.
He has terminal cancer.
Yeah,
What
this
he
is a
has,
terminal illness. Yeah.
what he has, they can't cure.
Yeah.
But the fact that he really is at this point showing more dignity, in the face of death than 45 has ever shown in all of his life.
Yeah.
And the fact that they can't really even get an apology. Because
That's not going to
that's not what this administration
Not from this
does.
administration. That's not going to happen.
They
If
don't do
anything-
apologies.
If anything,
I mean-
they'll spin it. Jump in, Terry.
None of it is surprising when you speak of the administration.
Right.
I mean, before he got in office, he said that McCain wasn't a war hero.
Yeah,
so
he respected people who did get captured.
Yeah, he's always had something against McCain for the most part.
Facts.
And it's
He's just in
crazy
his
because
way.
they're all the same. They're involved in the same political party.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just weird. It's Trump shit. We're not supposed to be talking about 45 anymore today.
But
I
it's
don't
just,
like
it's just anybody that gets in his way. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter who you are.
Yeah.
If you get in the way of his whatever he wants to speak about, then you're an enemy. So
No matter the circumstances, no matter what situation you're in,
Yes,
your
yes.
health.
he's he's the bell ringer.
Yeah,
He's the
it
bell
does.
ringer.
He's the ultimate bell ringer.
Jump in. You got.
I mean, again, it's just this, this kind of direction that particularly him and his supporters have driven this country of just so much hate and, negativity and just unwilling to apologize and ever
Right.
admit guilt or fault or say, you know what, like we don't condone that type of, why can't 45 honor a freaking U.S. senator that's in his political party?
Right. Like,
Right.
so that
He's
just
that
says who else?
selfish.
If he can't honor John McCain,
And then who is he gonna honor?
who's there's no one else has any chance. Like I look, and once again, it just shows you where the discourse is, because I don't know if you guys remember during the 2008 election when it was then Senator Obama versus Senator John McCain, and Senator McCain was at one of his rallies, and an elderly woman came up and started to ask a question and said, and he's and I'm phrasing this, and he's an Arab, and
Right.
John McCain goes and takes the mic from this woman and says, no. He's a decent man who I have some fundamental disagreements with, but
Right.
I am not. We're not here to call people names
Right.
and to downgrade the level of discourse.
Mm-hmm.
And people clapped. Like now, that level that's gone.
That's gone.
That's
That's
gone.
long
The
gone.
dignity has been stripped, particularly from one political party,
Right.
and it's getting to that point in all politics because the John McCains of our political system are, in his case, literally dying,
Right.
and they're being taken over by this, culture of hate and
He says what he means.
like the moron
Yeah,
revolution
like,
is what I
yeah,
call it. It's
like
just
the-
like, just because you thought of it and said it because you were pissed off doesn't mean that it was relevant or the right thing, I mean,
Right.
I almost played Idiocracy today.
it was on a couple weeks ago. I could not watch it. I was like, this is too real and
Yeah,
too
it was
annoying right now.
funnier
Camacho.
when it came out
Right.
than it is now, because you see oh wow, this is where we're going.
We're gonna be there.
Yeah,
I
we're
mean,
not. Yeah,
like,
we're.
Let me
it's not gonna take
avoid
as
all
long as
time
we thought.
machines, please.
Shout out to Black Mirror for going on the dark side
Man.
of that. I mean,
Yeah.
it is way too real. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is like we're like 5 years from some of this shit.
Yeah.
Well,
Moving on from politics.
yeah, thank you, sir.
Because
Boy, I
I-
appreciate
What's
you.
the next politic?
The blood
thing we got?
pressure
Man.
just like
Yeah.
toppled
Bring up the next
150 in
political segue.
Let's try Oakland, California.
Let's try that on for size.
A Caucasian woman called the police on an African American family at Lake Merritt in Oakland, California last
been there.
month. Shout out to Lake Merritt. While they were setting up for a day at the park, their crime, according to an unidentified woman, was grilling in one of the park's designated barbecue zones using a charcoal grill instead of a non-charcoal grill. On April 29th, the incident
That's
was
some
filmed
serious
by a
shit, by the
witness.
way.
Yeah.
Very serious. The
good
witness
thing
was
he was
named
there.
Michelle Snyder, who confronted the woman who was calling the police on the family.
Need that clean coal.
She definitely had it recorded. The police responded to the incident but did not issue any citations, according to the Oakland police. And at this point, this lady has turned into a meme. So
She is
I'm
very-
coming-
That's the best part about
that's,
it.
that's
Yeah.
probably the best part.
It's
I
actually
had no
hilarious.
idea until I watched. I'm not watched, but read the article, and I saw Lone get busy today on Facebook a little bit. So I'm coming to you first,
Oh,
sir.
of course you would.
With
This is
everything
your
that
topic,
you have,
Lone.
everything that you have now
Look.
heard,
Look. All right.
give me your 2 cents on
It
this.
was my anti-troll. I was trying a different trolling method. It didn't quite work the way I wanted it
He
to.
is a master troll.
Yeah, so I missed all this happening, and then I started seeing the meme everywhere,
Right.
and I was like, "Why is this woman's face on everything?"
I had
I
no
gotta admit, I
idea.
was the same thing. I'm like, you go to sleep for like 12 hours and
I
you were
missed
like
it.
out of the news cycle.
and I was
Facts.
completely unremoved this entire weekend. So I saw this happen, and I was like, "All right, let me watch this video." And I watched the first 10 minutes of this woman just on her phone the entire time. It's a 24-minute video.
She was on
And-
her phone she called the police 2 hours prior to her being on that call, but go ahead.
Not like the Oakland police don't have anything better to do.
Right.
Nothing at all.
So I watched the first 10 minutes of her just standing on the phone, and this other white woman just kind of continually grilling her over and over and over and over again. And I was like, okay, so what exactly is going on here? So I looked it up. Apparently they were grilling in an area that you shouldn't be grilling charcoal in.
It's a big deal, right? I mean,
Per the report, this is
allegedly.
From one of the many articles that I tried to read. There's
Yes,
a million
sir.
articles about it right now.
How does this make you feel, Lone? I'm just asking from the outside.
All right,
looking
just
in.
for a little backstory, I decided to troll a little bit. So I put a post up just to see if I could invoke certain types of responses from white people.
Mm.
In an
So-
unprecedented move by Lone.
Yeah,
I like that.
But I did it in a way saying, and this was actually true because I wasn't familiar with everything. I was curious as to what the angle was to why people were upset, outside of the obvious reasons to why people were upset.
Sure.
You know, I wondered if this was an area that was gentrified. I wondered if people were upset by the fact that when the other white person came down, she decided to quiet her tone up. I was curious if it was maybe, the simple fact that it was a white woman felt like she needed to police black people that were
Yes.
barbecuing.
Yes.
Now, those are the obvious reasons, right? But I was
Barbecuing while black.
But I was curious as
I like
to
that.
why, because everything that I saw in the video was just her sitting on her phone like this. So I felt like I could get away with a small little troll there, just to see if I could invoke response to see if people could get dialogue heard. That was the main thing.
Was there any information that changed
Oh, I see where you're going.
how you may have thought about
Yeah,
this?
I wouldn't have done this if I saw the ending of it when she decided to start crying. Yeah, that kind of
That part kind of bothers you a little bit.
Yeah, that kind of ruined it. But no, the good part out of all was shouts to Spread Fox.
Yeah, Spread Fox. Shout
He
out to my man.
decided he
Love
chimed
that
in, and
name.
he lives in Oakland. He chimed in on the gentrification of that area of that neighborhood,
Okay.
and talked about the people there and how everything has progressed throughout the years, and how people there are calling the police
Okay.
for stupid things like that. So he had really good insight. So I was happy that he responded to it. That's actually what I wanted.
Dope.
But I didn't know that she was that when Terry showed that she started crying at the end.
Speaking
First of all, that's
Speak-
when I started laughing at the video because it's like she was
I
trying
couldn't
to
make it that
she
far.
was trying to
I couldn't make it that far. After
weaponize her white tears, and you know how
like
that
that.
goes.
after
And
10 minutes,
she turned it on like as soon as the cops pulled up. And it's funny because she turned it on once the white lady was following her, because she followed her for
Man, she
I
was
don't know
going
however
Yeah.
long, and then as soon as the cops got there, all of a
So-
sudden she
And the
couldn't
cop
talk
looked
anymore.
at the camera like, man, I can't believe this is not what I signed up
So
for.
let me ask. I'm just trying to make sure I'm hearing this correctly. So after she called the police on the family or whomever was having the barbecue in the non-charcoal, whatever. So she eventually got to the point with whomever showed up at whatever time that this brought her to tears, and she turned the tears on
Man.
and started crying.
I think she felt harassed, probably, right?
Oh,
Because maybe the
I
camera
don't-
was in her face, but I was
No,
like,
I think that's what she. I'm not saying that she was actually feeling harassed. I think that
She-
maybe she was. That's.
I mean,
That's
she
it.
provoked it for the most part. I mean,
okay.
she evidently had called the police like 2 hours prior
Okay.
to her getting on the phone again.
Okay.
Obviously, it was no concern for the police that
Clearly.
some people were in the park barbecuing.
Right.
I mean, that's what people do at the park, right?
with illegal charcoals.
I mean,
I love the term illegal charcoal.
that's some serious California
brilliant.
shit, though.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
illegal
That's brilliant.
charcoal, you know.
So she apparently works for the environmental something or other as well.
Oh, that gives her a
Who
good
cares?
reason
So
to
she was
cry.
just sitting there waiting for somebody to start barbecuing.
right.
And then she knew exactly where to go to say, you can't use a charcoal grill. Let me ask you this. Who's carrying a gas grill to a park to barbecue on? How many people you know have?
Not me.
Is there even
I
a
mean-
portable gas grill?
People that are very.
I mean, you could,
yeah, I mean, if you had
Like the
if you-
like a
camping
truck,
joint?
but that's not the point of
Yeah,
having a
right.
park with.
if you really care about the
grills.
environment, you will.
Man, that's bullshit.
Stop.
I mean,
man.
that's debatable, you know.
I know.
bullshit.
I know.
Yeah, that's
I know.
this one is.
But that, like I said, it's so California, like having a law against, and then
Yeah.
having a white
But the
woman
thing
out
i-
there trying to enforce it. That's
The
That's much
ironic-
smog that's out in California,
The ironic part is that
and they're tripping on the code.
that law isn't enforced in the entire park.
right.
It's just that section,
It's just certain sections or something.
the black section.
what?
I see what you did.
Well, no,
there.
I think
I see
this
what
is
you did
yeah.
there.
going, and I think say this woman is completely right, which apparently she is, like calling out this small little ordinance that
Oh, her,
honestly the police and nobody else cares
her
about.
charcoal game is high.
Yeah, exactly.
We will
She's
say
got
that.
that kind of
Her
time.
charcoal game
wonder-
is high.
I wonder if she
We'll
had
say
white
that.
charcoal.
Oh, see,
Stop, man. Go ahead.
It's a
man.
After
very-
it burns for a while.
it's a very privileged
Oh,
charcoal.
that's it.
It's high carbon.
It just comes in a long line of, I know we've talked about this, of white people calling black people police on black people.
Right.
Like I heard someone
For just living.
use the term that white people are using the police like Apple Care. When they're uncomfortable. And the thing is, they're not even talking about black people doing anything criminal. It's just when they feel uncomfortable.
That's pretty
Threatened
good.
of some sort.
And it's
Quote,
this
unquote.
thing where I think that and people they almost feel, and I hate to go back to 45, but I got to. They
Leave him
feel
alone, man.
they feel deputized
Leave
by his
45
election
alone, man.
It's a lot of Zimmerman-esque style.
to where I feel uncomfortable,
Yeah.
even though I'm in these people's neighborhood essentially, because I think that's something, if you talk to anybody who's been to Brooklyn,
Yeah.
who lives there now and who lived there 20 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's completely different. And Spike Lee actually told a story about how like some neighbor said his dad needed to stop playing his music so loud on Sunday mornings, and it's like he's been here for 40 years.
Right.
You just got here
Right.
and you're trying to dictate the rules. It's not.
Right.
They don't even call it Bedford-Stuyvesant anymore. They call it Stuyvesant Heights. Like there's and when these things tend to happen, you have people who they wanted they've been able to get into a situation because look, they're giving a tax abatement. We're doing all this and come in here and live, and you have no respect for the people who already live there.
Yep.
And
That's
I think,
common. That's
and
even common here.
It is.
For sure.
Like
But
I
I
had
think
an
that's
episode,
real.
Yeah.
That's real.
actually where I had DJed an event in
That's real.
pretty much a gentrified neighborhood that's going on, and a lot of the residents are black still. So during this event, like the mayor showed up and stuff. I'm playing like family reunion type music. The lady was upset, and Nick can actually attest to
I remember this story.
Mhm.
Because of the type of music I was playing. She wanted to hear like more.
She wanted more hip hop.
Yeah, that's exactly what she wanted. She wanted like more poppy type stuff, but everybody's having a good time at this event. So when she approaches me and tells me to pretty much change the whole program, and I'm like, for what? Like
Right.
everybody's having a good time. And so she was mad. She was telling a few people at the party. She sent Nick like a crazy email about what I was doing or whatever. But everybody had a good time. It was more about appeasing her.
Right.
And
What about
the
me?
people that she wanted to be at this event than it was the people that actually live in the actual neighborhood.
Well, that's something very common
Trying
if
to
you work
entice
in
a different
if you work in the
clientele.
nightclub where like you could have a good crowd, but sometimes the management feels like if you just change the music, maybe we could get other people to come in here.
Can I tell you like a
That's
kind
happened.
of a funny story
Recently.
about that?
Yeah.
Please do.
I DJ at Flatwater on Sundays in the summertime. And
Definitely stop by on Sundays.
Definitely
It's a good time.
come check me out Sunday evening at Flatwater. And somebody wrote a little review about the first one for this year the other day. I want to share it with everybody here today.
right.
I love
Please
Flatwater, but I was a little disappointed that the music was so loud on a Sunday afternoon, Mother's Day, that my family could barely hold a conversation. Bring back the cool vibe and ditch the loud DJ on a lazy Sunday, please.
How many years
wow.
have you been doing this?
8 years.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So
Bring
when they
back
say,
the cool vibe,
When they say
though.
bring back the cool vibe and the other DJ, they're
I
talking
am the
about
cool
you.
vibe.
That sounds like Make America Great Again.
It was Samaga.
That's exactly what that sounds like.
Good old feedback.
So yeah,
Interesting.
I mean we're off to a good start.
I
Just
could-
pissing
We are.
people off. You know?
Exactly. I couldn't bring my family to a place where there was a DJ and just talk to them.
And here's the thing: I DJ'd for 3.5 hours straight, and I never played a single song with a cuss word. I never played anything even remotely offensive because
Yeah.
You've been there. You know I
it's
don't do that.
like I said, it's laid back. It's
I've
a
been there.
good time.
And it's not even that loud. And
No.
if you're coming to a place that has live music 5 nights in a row,
Yeah, I can stand right next to you and talk to you.
right?
So I
we
know
do
it
all
can't
the
be that
time.
loud.
That's crazy,
Yeah,
man.
it's a good
It
spot. So,
But at least we got all those memes though out of
Yeah.
that lady.
The
I
memes
mean,
are
I
good.
really like somebody drew her into
Fat Albert.
Fat Albert.
Yeah.
Albert Kids.
That
yeah.
shit was dope.
Yeah.
I like that.
I've seen a lot of good ones. I can't retract my statements because it is what it is. But yeah, it's fucked up.
I feel like that.
I feel like I
person
got
is-
trolled by myself.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you know.
That's that
Like
master
Inception
troll shit.
troll.
You trolled yourself. That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's
That,
a Jedi move.
that woman in this world though
I'm still
becomes a
triumphant.
meme.
Yeah.
Basically, that's
Yeah.
her destiny is to become a meme.
Yeah.
So
become
just
a
be
meme.
That's her
careful.
15 minutes of fame.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Yep.
she out there now, so she out
Man,
there.
she in these streets.
Out there in
Heavy.
them street- heavy in them streets.
Heavy.
in them streets
For-
for that work.
For this week only.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll forget about her just like we forgot about that yodeling kid in Walmart.
She's hosting the Grammys. though.
Yelling Kid has a song out though.
He's still cooking. though,
Nobody
Jay
cares.
Moore.
That was, he
He's
had his
making
moment.
money.
Yeah,
He got signed.
yeah.
What?
He's on Interscope.
Yeah, he
He's
was on
definitely close.
he was at
He might not have-
Coachella. He opened up at Coachella.
Okay, real shit. He might not be on Interscope, but he did get signed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
He out here.
Every struggling musician just shed a tear.
Yeah.
People have been putting
I
it
mean,
on.
at least
It's like maybe I should
least-
just go sing
At
at the
least he
Walmart,
can
right?
actually yodel and play an instrument though.
I guess.
It's-
I mean, it's
it's
a lot
not
of people I
like-
know can play
It's
instruments.
not like
Catch
It's-
me outside.
her like it's funny because now all of a sudden when people get Instagram, social media famous,
Right.
they automatically want to make them an artist of
It's
some
got to
kind.
become something.
Yeah, it has to become something.
How can we
So-
monetize this?
And it's easy
That's
to say
really
that they're a
foolish.
rapper.
That's
So
really
you
what it is.
you have somebody pen some rhymes for them and shit, and now they're a rapper, and now they'll be at the Emerson and shit by the time the summer hits.
They'll get some
and-
streams and then
Yep. They're just
That'll-
looking at like.
That was funny for
what
multiple
were the
reasons.
impressions
Yeah.
from this
Yeah.
idiot? I mean, like she shook the internet, so let's go ahead and put it on record. And,
I know
you
Dr. Phil is like, what did I don't want any credit for this.
I did not want this to happen.
He probably gets a check for it. It's
He
all
might.
part of the
That's a
Probably
good
the
plan.
point.
executive
Yeah.
producer on the damn
Yeah,
thing.
that's a good point. I
Yeah.
never thought about
He'll probably
that.
be on one of the skits.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
All right. We're just talking about trash tonight.
Yeah.
let's jump into some music. Shout out to all of Memphis.
This is an amazing conversation.
Right.
Yeah. Shout out to all of Memphis. We do not want to leave anybody out.
No beef.
Yeah.
North, south, east, west, Memphis.
Adjacent.
Downtown.
Adjacent.
Uh-huh.
Orange
County
Mound,
Suburbs.
Surrounding
What's
areas.
that?
Mhm.
Orange Mound,
Orange Mile.
Tennessee.
Look out. All of that.
Shouts to Murfreesboro.
Murfreesboro.
There you
okay.
go.
Yeah, you know.
Anything else we forget about Memphis?
Knoxville.
Knoxville.
Yeah, I mean, shouts to New York,
Yeah. Montana.
Okay.
Mhm.
Montana. Yeah. yeah.
Adjacent states.
Shout
Adjacent.
out to my main crew. You know what I'm saying out there.
Yeah, put a
New
pin.
Hampshire in the building.
Shout out
you
to
know how it
Young
is.
Buck, man.
Hey, Red August, put a pin in adjacent. I like adjacent. That was pretty good.
Adjacent.
So let's try hotnewhiphop.com.
Oh, we're going there, huh?
Yeah, that's where I got.
That's
all
the
my
source?
sources.
Mm-hmm.
So this year marks the 25th anniversary of Wu-Tang Clan's debut classic. We all know 36 Chambers.
Right.
That was recorded on Loud Records. Steve Rifkin and the group plan on re-releasing.
Rifkins?
Effort.
I'm going to do you like you do me. Rifkins?
I definitely said Rifkin.
Okay, go ahead.
Stop,
Keep going.
man.
You also
going.
say guest instead of guest.
I didn't say stop, man. Rifkin.
All right, keep
All
going.
right.
Like
So basically, they're about to do something that I think might be questionable.
Cal Ripken.
Junior. You know how many games he played?
Over
lot.
3,000 in a row
Mhm, hella.
without missing, right?
A lot.
It's like
You know his jersey number?
I used to.
9.
All right.
I'm not even a Cal Ripken
Boom.
fan. I just
Yeah, that's pretty good.
watched
yeah.
a lot of sports.
I like the
All
Orioles.
I know he
logo.
played for the Orioles.
think about that. That dude played over 3,000 games in a row without missing a game.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. Shout out to the
And
warehouse.
he got baseball money.
Man.
That's
Mhm.
real money.
Guaranteed
Baseball
contract.
money is real money too.
Yeah.
The bread
That
they
is
give.
real money.
I know this is off subject, but the bread they giving away now for baseball players, like Mike Trout probably gonna get
Oh,
Oh, 200 million.
250, $300
Yeah.
million dollars probably.
Over how long?
It
Probably.
don't matter.
Yeah, 10
Look,
years. But
think
he's gonna,
about this.
He's going to get at least half of it.
Robinson Cano, who got suspended today for 80 games, Seattle player, 80 games. That's going to cost him just over $11 million. Damn.
Yeah, I feel like if I have
Now,
a
mind you, that's
son-
half the schedule. So that means he still made $11
Oh, that
million.
is only that's still only half the schedule. I feel like if I have a son, I'm gonna be like, basketball's cool, football's fun, but why
Nah,
don't you
for
go
real.
get that
Oh,
baseball
no. But
money.
see, at least basketball money's guaranteed. See, that's I
Yeah,
gotta
basketball money is guaranteed.
NBA money's
Football
guaranteed.
money is the one that's questionable.
I got to stop
they-
messing with these women who might give me like a linebacker or a running back. I got to start messing with somebody who's going to give me a power forward.
Man.
Right?
Wow.
Give me a nice tall woman.
Shit, I'm looking for a shortstop.
somebody who hit a curveball. So
Yeah.
daddy got dreams too.
I heard
Man.
that.
Is Cal Ripken in the Wu-Tang, though?
No, he's not.
Okay.
See, that's the
but-
tangent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I was just trying to bring it back.
Speaking
Yeah.
of Wu-Tang,
Good job.
I like that. I like this guy, man. Long story short, they're gonna find 9 artists today
Yeah.
to remake 36 Chambers. So, first of all, I thought about when we first shared this last week. I was like, "Yo,
Yeah, Ken.
should I even think about what 9?" And I was like, "Nah, I ain't gonna go that far because I don't even know if I like this idea as a whole."
Nobody should like this idea.
Yeah,
I don't want
Whoever
anyone
came
rapping.
up with it shouldn't like the idea. That should have been
Who
something
likes
that
this idea.
that was being talked about at a round table, and they was like, "Nah, why would
Nah.
we do some shit like
a
that?"
25th anniversary tour, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I would go out and see the Wu if they came closer here, the
Are,
Shy, whatever.
are we seeing the first of many? You know how Hollywood right now is deciding that they don't have any new ideas and they just want to remake everything?
Right.
Is this the start of the remakes?
Just going to start remaking
Yeah.
old
Whole
hip hop
albums.
albums.
That's
Why?
whack.
I don't
Well-
really think it's the start of it because if you've noticed,
For
and
hip-hop,
this
though?
is multiple genres though. There's been a lot of artists and groups over the last maybe 5 years that have gone out and done tours that are basically playing a certain album from start to finish.
Right.
That's
Right.
the show.
Bone's been doing it here. Like it seems like Bone is here every other month doing East 99 Eternal.
Right. So there's been multiple artists that have done that, but re-recording a record.
That's whack.
That's the
so
part.
yeah. So I'm saying like maybe the trend has started in the live setup because that's been happening. That's nothing new. And I'm okay with that. I mean, I don't know. Like I'd rather you just rock a show rather than like. But I get it. But as far as re-recording a record, I mean, like, first of all, like you would. So if the point of that is like a money grab, why wouldn't you just do the tour? Because the tour is going to net you.
You're gonna
way
make
more-
money.
You're gonna. Who's gonna buy this record?
Everything that's creative and quote unquote
Not
out
me.
the box,
I'm just
Not
and
me.
all that, everything that gets that label is not good.
That's
Everything
not
is
creative
good.
at
I
all.
don't want to hear anybody
I have
rapping
never heard of
Ghostface
somebody trying
Killer's
to remake
parts.
the
Or,
album with a
nah.
group like
That's
that.
what-
It's
or
like,
trying
that's
to redo
whack.
old DB's parts.
This is
Yeah.
like what is
That's
this?
why-
Like a
that's just
cover
like,
band, basically?
They can
Yeah.
get a son.
You know, on
Karaoke
VH1
night?
Yeah.
honors when people get up there and perform the rappers that
Oh,
honor.
yeah.
I mean, that's cool for that moment,
Yeah, I don't have.
but
a
I
problem
don't
with
want
that.
a whole album
Right. That's not
full
putting
of
out a
some.
record.
Nah,
Yeah.
that's,
I don't want Tiana Taylor to remake Lil Kim's first album. Like,
Nah.
nah.
And we definitely don't want Tiana Taylor doing 𝗀𝐄𝐃H's part on
Wow.
We don't need any of that.
Yeah, we don't.
anything that 𝗀𝐃𝐃 was on.
We're gonna get
We have
Logic.
to, we have to find a
want the
𝗀𝐃𝐃
We're
rated
getting Logic
artist.
to do all of Old Dirty Bastard.
Yeah.
The yodeling kid has got a part on there too.
See, that's what they would do.
We're gonna
See, they
sample
wouldn't.
Yodeling Kid.
They wouldn't
Just to
get
make it
capable
even more stupid.
MCs.
They're gonna be like, yeah, we need to get Young Thug. I'm trying to figure out
We'll
who
get
we can
Tekashi
put.
6ix9ine to do all of
Lil
INS's.
Uzi
We're gonna
Vert.
pick somebody
Yeah.
off
It'll
the
be
Bachelor.
it'll be the XXL class of 2016.
That does this album
Right.
over.
Yeah.
That would be a disaster.
Hey.
First of all, it's not gonna sound the same with all that gritty production.
It's not
how
going
it
to
was
sound the
recorded.
same. Period. Like
It's
You
just
know,
a bad
like-
idea,
that's-
man.
There's one way.
dumb.
There's one way I could see this possibly being okay.
I want to hear this.
They would have to do it in a way that was similar to the way 𝗀𝗱𝗃 did 𝐿matic.
Now that was dope.
Well, that was like a tribute album.
Exactly.
And he also didn't rap like the exact same lyrics.
He did not.
That's,
He
I know.
followed the cadences.
I'm not that, but that's what I'm saying. It's got to
Yeah.
be something to where it's paying homage and it's reference. Maybe you can reference styles for every song, but if you are duplicating verses and remaking the beats
This is
sound the same,
the
that's
karaoke album.
why. I mean,
I will say
The
on
whole
that
album
note,
of
it, like,
karaoke.
yeah, I mean, if it's gonna be karaoke, like, you know, like we got like our homies in Real Rude that are doing that, you know,
Right, right.
downtown Indy. We don't need to like put that on a record that's
Yeah, I don't
being
wanna- nah.
released across the world.
right.
But depending on the quality of the artists that are on it, by the way, have the artists been like selected or
No,
announced?
I
this,
think
for
it's
that?
just
this
an
is just an idea that's
idea.
out
Okay.
there. Yeah.
Because I think if you had amazing rap artists on there, maybe if it was versioned somehow, it could be dope. But I still just don't see what the point of taking any record for that matter.
Just
but certainly,
re-release
like,
the
one of
album.
top hip hop
Yeah,
albums
for
ever.
sure.
New
Re-release the
packaging,
album.
maybe put some outtakes
Make
on
it, yeah, make it like a box set or like a record store days type release where
Yeah,
it's like
put a
cool to
shirt.
own it.
I'd rather
Yeah,
have.
or
I'd
something
rather
in
hear
there.
like old school demos or something like that.
Right,
and just
some,
throw all
yeah,
that
some
together.
shit that didn't make
Yeah.
it. But
Like I
we don't
tell
need
people,
to-
I don't even want them to ever remaster that album because if they try to go in there and make all the levels right and take all the
Right.
hits out,
It loses
I'm like,
it.
that's not what I wanted out of that or Wu-Tang Forever.
It
Like
just,
the
it's
fact,
not the same.
yeah,
It's nowhere near the same, man. Like that whole.
Sky Zoo
sound.
did what? Ode to Reasonable Doubt too.
Him and shout out to Sky Zoo and Man
Yeah,
Wonder.
Man Wonder.
Now they killed that, but
See,
he
that-
did not rap the bars.
But there's
Right.
there's ways to do it. You know.
Yeah, they killed that. That project was dope, but I think that one was tastefully done. So, to
And
your-
Jay-Z once when Reasonable Doubt turned 25, he had a release of tape cassettes.
Yep,
25-year tape cassettes.
and he did a joint at
That
Radio
was
City
it.
Music
Right.
Hall.
That was it.
Yeah, that was cold.
Yeah. There's no reason to re-record it.
Follow Jay-Z.
Yeah,
yeah.
Show
I mean, I
him
guess
the way.
Wu-Tang is a little older, but still.
they can't do they can't do
Not
theirs
that
at,
much.
Well,
Nah,
not
I
much.
mean,
Not really.
Well, as
I
far
mean,
as
technically, Jay-Z
Jay
was
might
in
be
the game
older-
before them.
Let me
Jay-Z might
rephrase
be
my
older
word.
than,
let,
yeah.
let me rephrase my wording. Wu-Tang Clan came out with their big hit in '93, right?
Cream.
Cream.
And
Yeah.
Reasonable Doubt was
Protecting it.
'95.
Reasonable
But
Doubt was
Jay-Z was-
96.
But yeah, we're
Jay-Z
not
was-
talking about multiple
He was
years.
also
I mean, it's,
touring
you know,
with
But I just
with
meant
Jazz.
that's what I meant. by
Yeah.
that.
Well, yeah, that's the. But
Yeah,
we're talking,
but
about Jay-Z.
but we're
having
talking
a
about-
song that
we're
people
Okay.
knew.
Talking about 36 Chambers versus Reasonable Doubt, though.
Yeah,
That-
you're
that's
still talking
3
about a
years.
3-year difference.
About
yeah.
3 year difference. Yep.
So
In,
Both
in,
are-
in
both
your
are
case,
credible
that
albums.
record doesn't need to be covered and re-released.
Yeah, I think that's what we're all getting to.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we don't want that.
Yeah, man. Like I'm cool on that. Just give me some B-sides we never heard. To
Just-
Terry's point, throw a T-shirt in there, or something.
no remade B-sides by
Wax.
affiliate.
Give me some
Producers.
wax or
Yeah.
something with all this on it, and
No D-level
cool.
affiliates.
No D-level affiliate
please
producers.
no D-level affiliates.
What if they did the whole album was just all affiliates?
No, man. I
We
don't
back
want.
on this again this week.
Shout to mathematics.
The affiliates.
I'll tell you what, if you bring it up, I'm gonna talk about it.
I heard that. No D-level affiliates. Now,
Man.
let's jump to Spotify.
Okay.
𝐀𝐁𝐎𝐿, Robert Kelly.
Oh yeah.
What's his name, man? I ain't gonna say.
The
I
Pied
can't-
Piper of R&B.
No, not Kel.
Pie Piper.
What's
Literally.
There you go.
Extension.
Is that how he says it?
I don't know.
Extension.
XX,
He's the extension guy.
the
Yeah.
extension guy. XXX extension.
How do you spell that, Mike?
I refuse.
Right.
So basically, he was removed
I
from Spotify
Playlists.
playlist as well as
Uh,
Robert
Like
Kelly,
his music is
Spotify-
available. But
Officially sponsored Spotify playlists, I believe.
which are like gold. Those are the ones you want to be on because the streams are high.
And this
all that
doesn't
type
mean
of
that
stuff.
they're being removed from Spotify.
you
though,
can
right?
still listen to
Not
their
their catalog.
music. Yeah.
Yeah, just not there. So
I mean,
it's really
he's still getting paid if you go in there and type in his name and just listen to it.
But I guess the thing is, those playlists are
Curated.
high volume. They're curated,
Mhm.
kind of like on iTunes. So if you get pulled from those in terms of actual streams, like you're gonna feel it a little bit because those are the ones, if you will. But since Kale's been out here bad and XXX was accused of, oh man, I forgot. I hate saying XXX.
I don't think there was accused. I think he was actually convicted.
Convicted. I'm sorry, he's convicted.
Is it when he was beating his
Yeah,
ex-girlfriend
it's
or something?
There's
or?
a video of that, right?
Yeah,
Or something like
yeah,
that.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Video.
But either way, they're using that now to say that they have been removed from these main playlists. So I think XXX,
Stop trying to
his
pronounce
people
the other guy.
did a list of some of previous artists, classics, like legends that had prior offenses or whatever. So it made me think, like, is this going to become a trend? Is this something that we're going to start seeing on iTunes or Tidal or anything like that? Or are people going to start falling in line and taking heed to pull these people away from these major lists or not? What do you guys think, Lone?
I think it's a bold statement.
Very bold
I
statement.
think it's an extremely bold statement by Spotify. The thing that kind of perked my, when it first came out, I was like, ooh, I wonder what's going to pop up. I didn't think about it too much. I was like, I wonder what people are going to say is the problem with this.
Yep.
I didn't think about it too much. And then I saw an article about it being problematic, the fact that, they targeted 2 black artists and they didn't target any white artists, which is relevant. I think it's interesting the artists that they chose to do that for. I'm curious if they are going to expand on that or if or how, or if they're going to create a criteria for it.
Right.
Honestly, I don't even know who curates these playlists.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious about that as well. Is this just the people that are curating the playlist deciding this, or I'm kind of ignorant on the subject, to be honest. So I don't really know much of the detail, but I'm curious about all that.
I think it probably just came from the higher ups at Spotify. They seen a way. I mean, and I hate to say it, a lot of this stuff is all PR and bidding wars to get listeners. So you have this whole thing with R. Kelly, and people are telling people to boycott his music, telling DJs not to play his music, telling the radio to take it off. And then so you have iTunes, you got Spotify, you got Google Play. Spotify pretty much put themselves out there like, we're removing them from playlists, which is going to spark the attention of some people that may or may not support R. Kelly or people in those same positions. So they may start listening to Spotify versus listening to iTunes, Google Play, whatever. And I just hate to be the person that always sees it like that.
Right.
But the reality of things and how things work and how people's gears turn and money is the big thing.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it comes down to that.
That's the bottom line.
That's my opinion on why they would do something like that.
Jump in, Helicon.
I mean, I think you just nailed it. I mean, these decisions are never made based on anything other than that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you're talking about executives running any company, I mean, that's their one drive, is to make money. And so whether it's Spotify or any other large company, that's just what they're going to do.
Right.
So, but I think, to the point that kind of started this discussion, is this going to start a trend, or is this going to start, is the banana going to continue to peel, so to speak, and is this thing going to start unraveling? Because, I mean, you're talking about a really slippery slope in the music industry.
There's a lot of gray area
so
in this.
I'm looking here.
A lot.
Apparently, this was pressured by a social media campaign called
Mute
R. Kelly, which I wasn't familiar with. So,
and look,
that's kind of what I was.
I'm not trying to like silence anyone who's trying to speak up against someone who's done wrong things, and clearly, Kel's got some issues, But like, I think the big thing again for me is like whether I don't necessarily agree or disagree with any of that stuff, but the real question is, what is that going to do industry wide or across other artists, particularly on streaming platforms, because that's really where most people are listening to their music these days.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and the thing is, of course, I feel it's kind of the same way that Jay Diff does. It's hard not to be a little bit cynical when people do things like this, because, okay, you did this to Kelly and the kid with the tattoos on his face. And
Tentacion.
Yeah, exactly. And, okay, is this just something you did to occupy space within this particular news cycle? And now that that news cycle has run its course, you're done. You haven't created any sort of criteria for who you're going to take off of these playlists. Because we still spoke about this before. We were talking about Bill Cosby and, you know, as far as going back and reassessing people's art and how we view their art. Okay, like I said, are we going to go back and get James Brown because he used to put his hands on women? Are we going to take all the Temptations off of old school because of David Ruffin? Are we going to take down Jerry Lee Lewis because he married his 14-year-old cousin? Like, where does it stop?
That's real.
And if you're just arbitrarily taking people off based off of a particular group putting pressure on you as a corporation, okay, say that.
Right.
But and make that clear. But at the same time, you're opening up the door for any special interest group who has maybe even just a personal problem.
Yeah.
You know, just think about if it was streaming in the time of Death Row. And C. Dolores Tucker could have been like, okay, I need you to take all of Snoop Dogg's records, you know, because I'm personally offended and I don't like this vision of how he treats women. And so, and then that pressures them, if you're not going to do that, take everything off Interscope down, you know. So once again, if you're actually about that action and about setting a standard, then come out with a specific, these are the things that will get you taken off of curated playlists, and then apply that to everybody. If you're just going to do this for the news cycle, then we know you're not doing. You don't care.
No.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
I agree with that.
If you're not going to really, if you don't really care, like that's going to come out in the wash too, and then that's going to make me see you as less of an entity as far as a corporation, because like don't do that. That's just the worst.
There's not enough bandwidth to police this.
Right.
Because we're in the era right now where I can put out an album on Friday and it'll be on Spotify in a week.
Right.
Who's listening to my album top to bottom to hear what I'm is it gonna well here that brings up another issue, I guess.
Does it have to be submitted to a board? Like, it's another form of censorship.
What if it's in the music and it's not in real life?
Right.
Does that suggest something
because
as well?
There are people that are going to say,
what about Eminem?
How many times have we all heard that? Prime example, we talked about this a while back, but you take Future, for example. He talks about, I really don't do the stuff I rap about, but it's just art. Like, this is what I'm doing is because it's popping. Or you got people that are here portraying certain things and lifestyles that they're really not actually doing. So
it just has to be defined as
exactly
if it's going to be something like what exactly is our if
you find out, say, like a gospel artist, and you find out he beats his wife, you're taking all his music off.
Yep.
Right.
But if there's some gangster rap artist, I hate using gangster rap because it's not actually a thing.
But let's just go with that.
Yeah, exactly. We'll go with that for everyone outside of this podcast who's sitting here.
What do you mean? What?
say he's the type of person that goes home to his wife every night, takes his kids to school, but he rhymes about the most deplorable parts of just life in general.
Yeah, supporting Trump.
It's like a lot of gangster rappers aren't really gangsters.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like these guys
and
go
then there's
home
some gospel artists who are
out here hoeing. Yeah, So
that's real.
You know, so let's come up with a real criteria, or else this is just a move by corporate America to occupy a news cycle.
Yep, another little PR moment.
Yeah,
ATM
coinage.
Yes, sir. I don't know, man. I really don't know. Like, the funny thing about it, I just thought about it. Like, he can really have an album up in a week.
Yeah,
like that fast.
There's no worrying about channels of distribution
and don't think for a second when R. Kelly drops his album that they're not going to have it on there, because they still want you to come to their platform and listen to the album.
Listen to it.
True.
Just
it's
to
just
curate
not on
it.
the playlist.
It's just not on the playlist.
And that's another statement too, because if they really were really interested, it might be illegal. They might run into legal issues if they try to take the music off.
Right.
I mean,
that's fair.
Like, to bring up your point though, because like really, R. Kelly has never done anything on a record that's been, controversial or questionable or offensive.
Yeah.
It's his life that they're doing this about. Yeah. So kind of like we were talking about with the certain types of rap music that makes me think of like Tipper Gore and like the whole censorship.
The PMRC.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like this whole we can't expose our youth or whatever to this type of music when it's just another art form that just didn't relate to those people.
I think it would be a lot bigger of an issue to me if there was a censorship of the art itself. Right. As opposed to them censoring them for their lives. But that's just me personally.
The same thing happens, though, not with music, but we all know, I think we talked about this. The Cosby Show was taken off the air
Yep.
Right.
before he was convicted, though.
Mhm.
Right.
They wanted to get out ahead of it.
That's
Right.
money.
PR
It's money.
angle. Yeah.
Exactly. Another show though, One Hill Tree, I believe.
Yeah.
One Tree Hill.
One Tree
something.
Hill.
That guy was convicted as a pedophile or something.
No, I think you're thinking of Seventh Heaven.
Seventh Heaven. That's
yeah,
what it was.
and the guy
Seventh
portrayed a
Heaven.
minister on the show.
on the show, but they didn't take that show off.
No, it's still on, and like
Yeah.
you can, yeah, and he was caught up in like child porn,
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
and so, but there wasn't this like let's get.
He had them
I don't-
child porn eyes though.
What?
I don't want to ever hear that again.
Hold up. What?
Well, let's get past that.
Yeah. Can we,
Hey, Red August, don't put a pin in that. I don't want that one.
Yeah.
but like,
He was always creepy looking. Was
We
my
go
point.
Men in Black that part.
Yeah, we don't even need that one. Go
Men in
ahead.
black out that. But the in Hollywood, this has started to unravel a little bit. Because,
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Right.
you're talking about House of Cards taking Kevin Spacey.
Yep.
I mean, literally the lead character in the show. I mean, and he's not been someone who anyone ever thought even remotely anything like this. There's no, his life is questionable until one
Except the
story
Family
comes
Guy.
out.
The Family Guy kind of. I don't know how they get out so far ahead of some of this stuff,
mean,
but
Yeah, that's true.
They,
Because it's a cartoon.
that
yeah,
is
but they
what
even
it is.
had the whole thing about Bruce Jenner.
Well,
Oh,
they
yeah.
had the.
They've done everything.
yeah.
They've literally covered everything.
But hey, the Simpsons predicted Trump, so
They predicted a lot of
They
shit.
did.
yeah.
They did.
Simpsons did it.
It's low key scary when I see the
It is.
screenshots and I see, you know what I'm saying, when the air, what?
No,
But that's it. Even with R. Kelly, though, I honestly, this is the thing. I worked in radio when all this went down and the videotape came out.
Yeah.
He's one, a summer anthem away from people getting over this again.
Man.
Because
Now
I'm telling
that's
you,
a fact.
there was a quick time where, with R. Kelly was featured on a lot of stuff, and they wouldn't put him in the videos, and he wouldn't be at award shows. But I remember the song where an artist said, all right, I'm just going to go ahead and have him back in the video. And it was, some of y'all might remember this record. It was Fat Joe, We Thuggin'.
Yeah.
That was the first time like R. Kelly was kind of back. And I remember they sent the CD to the radio station. My PD told me to say it because I was on Sunday nights. So it was going to cause some controversy, whatever. So he said, play the Ignition song. Now, mind you, there's a regular version of Ignition that nobody ever knows.
Nobody knows it.
Yeah. Now at the end it says, now he says that, now usually I don't do this.
Right.
And that was like, oh, but then people called in and was like, man, this is crass and R. Kelly is this, that, and the third. But when the remix to Ignition came out,
Man.
people were like, oh, I don't, he was foul. But then when Step in the Name of Love and the Chocolate
Man.
Factory album came out, people were like, well, maybe he didn't have sex with them kids.
I ain't
like
go
it
front.
was,
Chocolate Factory was lit.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
And
I
so
can't take anything.
it's
away
just
from
it's
that.
just like in the NFL, like you are 1,000-yard season or hit song away from people getting over whatever it is you did.
Forgiveness.
It's a fact.
I don't know. The NFL ain't quite wired the same because
No, they weren't. They are. Yeah, you're right. There was a point because remember they was gonna let Ray Rice back in the NFL until the videotape
They
came
really
out.
did think about
No, it wasn't thought
not think
about. He
they were
only
on
got a
that,
2-game
yeah.
suspension. So
Yeah.
if he'd have came back and say the Ravens got to the playoffs and he had a 1,300-yard season, they'd have been like, well, you know what? He's been contrite, and we just got to forgive people, and everyone's not perfect. But we saw that videotape and we were like, nah, we can't overcome this, so
Right.
he's out of here. But I'm
Colin
telling you,
was throwing more completions than a lot of them
yeah.
quarterbacks got picked up.
What if
but-
Colin Kaepernick had 4 Super Bowl rings?
Well,
Mm.
yeah. I mean,
there, people are like, well, you do got to understand.
you got to understand, but that's
It's a business.
It's
Yeah.
it's a
becomes
business, and maybe we should. But they didn't. If he was, and the thing is, if he was better, like say the 49ers had gone 8-8 that season,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and honestly, last year he was still the best quarterback that they had available, even though he wasn't on the team.
Yep.
That's a fact.
Yeah. So, like I said, if R. Kelly came out with a banger, people would talk that talk. But I'm telling you, as someone everyone who DJs in these nightclubs,
Oh yeah.
you'd be
there's
playing
stuff with questionable content and people who've done questionable things. And you know what? As long as the song is good enough, people are get over it. I was in a club last week and they played, not Your Body's Calling, but My Mind's Telling Me No.
Yeah.
And people weren't like, boo, turn that
Yeah.
off. R. Kelly's no, you know what?
Yeah.
They were still out there bumping
were
and
still
grinding.
trying to
to
bump
it.
and grind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bump and grind.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I don't know why I couldn't.
That's
think of
going
the
to
name
continue
of
to
it.
happen. I
Oh
believe
yeah.
it's going to continue to happen.
Hey, we saw. Shout out to Rachel Rubes, my fiance. We saw R. Kelly. I want to say maybe 4 or 5 years ago, not that long ago, at Pitchfork in Chicago, and he was one of the headliners. And I mean, there wasn't nobody there complaining about a damn thing. Or
He
you
was
know
just
why?
here.
I mean,
Wasn't he here last summer?
and
like
he,
I think it was last summer.
killed it. I
Yeah.
mean, honestly, it was an amazing show. We were up in the front. I mean, it was way too crazy, but.
Well, so whatever you have to say about his music or about him as a person, you can't act like he hasn't given us some of the most incredible music over the last 20 years.
Can't front on that.
You can't front on it.
Let's go ahead and
But
wrap.
Ryan, if you want to tell him a little bit about it, we should have got that out earlier.
Yeah.
If you want to kind of
Talk about R. Kelly?
No.
your
where you gonna
relationship
be?
with R. Kelly.
Yeah.
I have zero relationship with R. Kelly.
But no, if you want to kind of let the people know who you are, what you do.
Where you're gonna be.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Like I said, introduced at the beginning, DJ Helicon. I do my Sunday thing in the summertime at Flatwater. That's every other Sunday, typically. It's kind of a weird little pattern that we have to follow because of holidays and that type of thing. But yeah, usually get started around 6 o'clock. It's a nice little vibe out on the patio. But yeah, I mean, I DJ around town. I don't do a ton of club stuff anymore just because I'm an old man and I run a digital marketing company during the day. And so yeah, I got life to do. So, but yeah, I'm still out there DJing and doing the wedding thing, and got a couple other things I'm cooking up that you'll probably start hearing about.
Yeah.
So.
He also was a big part of Orange. For those that don't know, was an arts festival that was going on
Nice.
in the city for how long did you do that?
13 years.
13 years.
Dope.
Yeah.
DJ,
Dismissed.
DJ for the Mud Kids as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice. Shout out to the mother.
Shout out to the reunion you guys had a few weeks ago.
That was great. Yeah, we did a little thing for Record Store Day out behind Luna Music, and man, it was amazing. And we dusted it off after almost 10 years.
Wow.
Since we'd done a show, and I thought it went pretty well.
No,
Yeah.
no.
I saw clips on Instagram. Yeah,
we were all sore the next day. I mean, yeah,
that's what's up.
It was
man.
wild.
We definitely appreciate you sitting in with us.
Yeah, I appreciate
it
y'all
was a
having
fun
me, man.
time,
Thank you. I'm a
Shout
big fan of the show.
We appreciate you,
Yeah.
man. Thank you. Is anybody got anything popping before we wrap it up?
Thursday night is the build.
Okay.
You mean tonight?
Yeah, tonight. Sorry. I could have filled it in when I was.
It's all right though.
no,
We see you. We
I
see
mean,
you.
you know how to cut and splice.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
sir.
Not when there's a video involved. What's up, Mike? So,
Mike
yeah.
ain't doing nothing. Go ahead, man.
Nah, so the build is Thursday night from 6:30 to 8:30. We're doing a jam session. It's our quarterly, give or take. We do it once or twice a year.
Okay.
There'll be
So,
vegan dishes there as well.
there will also it's also a jam session and not a vegan potluck, but vegan dishes for you to eat. Also, special food as provided by the Jazz Kitchen as well. It's not vegan for people that aren't vegan, but
Nice.
you can come and jam out, bring your stuff. It's at 𝐀𝐿 off of Boulevard, right next to Crown Hill Cemetery.
Okay.
So
Got one after work this Friday.
Yes,
yeah,
back in the game.
effect.
Yes,
Nice,
sir.
We
Real
took
nice
a month off, but we're back. It's
Wow.
hot outside, so it should be nice.
Ball me up.
He sound like a Speedway commercial.
Yeah, I know where that's from though. That's the W album.
exactly. We
Wu-Tang,
just talking
man.
about Wu-Tang. So.
Yeah, that's the
Word.
W album. Jay Moore, what we got popping?
Let's see. Of course, tonight I'll be at Tiki Bob's with DJ Lemmy Vice and DJ Gabby Love. So shout out to Teddy Hardy. He's holding that down. And let's see. Actually, Friday I think we're going to be, of course, at Wine After Work.
Yes, sir.
And then Silent Sports Pub in Avon
Okay.
with DJ Fly Tie. Then, of course, next week, don't forget, every Tuesday at Coach's Tavern with DJ Metronome.
All right, that's going to
Yes.
do it for episode 81. We appreciate everybody for checking us out. Remember, www.patreon.com/newheads. That's our Patreon.
Oh.
We got a lot of dope stuff going on there.
Impressive.
I like it.
And go get that Songs in the Key of Marvin, my new EP. I got some dope beats on there.
Indeed.
And we will see you guys next week. We appreciate the love. Peace.